the fallout from NXT Heatwave last night truly is going to be something to remember. Last night at Heatwave, we saw not one but two brand new champions. We saw brand new NXT Tag Team Champions in the form of Darkstay, and a brand new TNA Knockouts champion in the form of Ash by Elegance, part of the Elegance brand, who now hold all the gold in the women's division, or the Knockouts division in TNA. Not only having the TNA Knockouts tag team titles, but now the TNA Knockouts title as well. Not only that, but we saw Blake Monroe use underhanded tactics to defeat Jordan Grace, once again playing mind games with the Juggernaut. And then, of course, the main event last night was truly an instant classic. Absolutely incredible to see Javon Evans prove that he is ready to become NXT champion, but fell short against the ruler Obafemi. With NXT Heatwave now officially in the record books, there is definitely a lot to talk about, including what to expect with NXT Homecoming, which will take place on September 16th inside Full Sail University for the first time. Yes, you heard me right. For the first time in over 5 years, NXT will be inside Full Sail University. Now, I'm not entirely sure if the setup is going to be different compared to how it was originally, where if you're watching it on TV, the stage would be on the right side, and the commentary booth would be buried in a sea of WWE fans, or if it's going to be similar to how it was inside the PC, where, again, watching it at home, it would be on the left, where the stage would be on the left, the commentary booth would be on the right. No one knows what the stage setup is going to be, but we do know that there are going to be some major that there are now some major rumors that have been spewing over the last couple of hours, from what I've seen on social media. One of which apparently is that according to the comments that I had seen on social media regarding NXT Homecoming, rumors have it that there are going to be several former NXT champions that will be showing up to that event, which could potentially include guys like Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins, the current World Heavyweight Champion, both being a part of Seth's faction known as the Vision. We could potentially see Michin show up. Obviously, she is no stranger to NXT. We could see DIY show up. Let's not forget, both men are former NXT Tag Team Champions, but they're also former NXT Champions as well. In fact, Johnny Gargano is the only 3-time North American champion in history, holding the title a combined a little over 300 days, I want to say, across all 3 title reigns, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. List of NXT North American champions. Here we are. So if I'm not mistaken, I believe Gargano, across all 3 of his title runs, oh, okay, never mind. Okay, alright, never mind. So across all 3 of his title runs, Gargano has held the title for a combined 202 days across all 3 of his title reigns. In fact, the only 2 men that have held the title longer than anyone else whether it's across one reign or two reigns. That those two men being Obafemi and Carmelo Hayes, both holding the title for a combined 272 days each, which is incredible. The shortest reign, if you can believe this, okay, the shortest reign is Trick Williams with only 3 days. Think about that. 3 days. Which is kind of expected. Obviously, fans, yes, they did want it. They did want to see Trick Williams become champion. Some people believe that it was too soon. But think about this. The first ever NXT North American champion is none other than Adam Cole, who held the title for, I believe, if I can find his name, for 132 days, so a little over 4 months. So I would say a little over 4 months as NXT North American champion, the inaugural champion at that. I will say with NXT Homecoming, we could potentially see former champions show up. We could see literally WWE Hall of Famers show up to Full Sail. The possibilities are so out there. But I know that for a guy like Corey Graves, who got his WWE start inside Full Sail, it all begins again for the savior of misbehavior. So it's gonna be interesting. But going into an NXT Homecoming, it is still a few weeks away. We still don't know exactly what else we could expect. We don't know exactly who will still be champion after the fact. We don't know if we don't know about the fate of the NXT Heritage Cup. We haven't seen that. We haven't seen the cup in quite some time. In fact, we haven't even seen the champion in a long while as well. In fact, the last time we saw Channing Stacks Lorenzo was when he had that triple threat against Luca Crucifino and of course Tony D'Angelo, who again we had not seen since. All three haven't seen them, so we don't know if they'll be back for NXT Homecoming. We don't know what the hell is gonna go down. But I will say, I think looking at it on the surface, with this big show coming up on September 16th, it is going to be a very chaotic few weeks, because we now know that Dark State they are now the new NXT tag team champions, and because of that, they are now going to be able to use the Freebird rule, which means that any two members of Dark State will be able to defend the tag team titles. Kind of similar to what the New Day has done the entire time that all three men were together. So the entire tag team division had better be on their toes and prepare, because when they challenge Dark State for those tag titles, you may think it'll be two the same two guys. They may switch it up and do two completely different guys, or keep one guy but do one different guy. The combinations are out there. Now, as far as the TNA Knockouts title, obviously this is one thing that I can't really discuss. I can't really touch on that much, because obviously I don't talk about TNA all that much anyway. But I will say that TNA has truly evolved. No pun intended with WWE evolved, but TNA has truly evolved from the last time I watched TNA up until now. It truly has become a a major player in the wrestling business, because when TNA first started back in 2002, no one knew anything about TNA. All fans knew about TNA was that they were working with the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance, which at that time was under the rule of I believe Jim Cornette, who is a WWE legend, if you can believe that. Wow. A seed. Okay. Yeah, that was a lemon seed that went in my mouth because I was drinking tea. I'll pick that up in a second. Anyway, so yeah, the NWA was being run by Jim Cornette, who is a WWE legend, if you can believe it. And at that time, Jim Cornette did pretty well running TNA for several years. That was until I want to say 2007, 2008, which was when Hulk Hogan showed up in TNA. God bless his soul. And it was being run not only by Hogan but also by Eric Bischoff for several years. We all know about that. But from back then to now, it's so different. Like the atmosphere is so different from what I've seen on social media. It's incredible. It is absolutely incredible. So with that being said, the question becomes, what's next for Ash by Elegance? The answer is simple: JC Jane, because we know that she'll want a rematch for that TNA Knockouts title, and she'll do whatever the hell it takes to regain that title back and keep it in the clasp of Fatal Influence. Now, as far as Obafemi goes, obviously we know Ricky Sainz is got next. But as we move towards NXT Homecoming, as we move towards NXT No Mercy, and as we move towards NXT Halloween Havoc, one has to ask: Are Obafemi's days as an NXT champion numbered, or are they just beginning? After the instant classic he had last night against Javon Evans, I have a feeling that he's gonna probably remain champion until potentially next year's Stand and Deliver, when it emanates once again in Las Vegas. Odds are it's very possible, but again, from now until then, it's the same. It'll be the same question over and over and over again. Who can stop Obafemi, and is he going to be that much of a dominant champion compared to how dominant Adam Cole was when he was NXT champion? Because let's not forget, Adam Cole holds the record for. Because let's not forget. Excuse me. Let's not forget, if I can. Here we are. Let's see. Here we are. This might help. Okay. So, think about this. The man who held the NXT Championship longer than anyone else, is none other than Adam Cole, who held the title for 403 days, which is the longest reign ever. Like right now, ever. As of right now, Obafemi is sitting at 229 days, which means that as of right now, if I can, let's see, 3 minus 229. That means that Obafemi is right now 174 days away from breaking Adam Cole's record. if he is able to remain champion until then, if he's able to remain champion for that long and goes one more day, then Obafemi will truly be the greatest NXT champion of all time. Here is the plot twist. The man with the most reigns is Samoa Joe. In fact, Samoa Joe, across all three of his title runs, if I'm not mistaken, let's see. Across all three of his title runs, has only held the NXT title for 154 days, which is wild. But I will say that with Obafemi, he can definitely make history and go down in history as one of the greatest NXT champions ever. Which would definitely put him in line for to become a part of Raw or SmackDown within the next year. I'm telling you guys, 2026, Obafemi will drop the title at Stand and Deliver, and will go to Raw or SmackDown after WrestleMania. I am putting my call in right now. That is what's going to happen, and I'm making that bold statement right now. But obviously, yes, he still has to deal with guys like Ricky Sainz. He got to deal with Javon Evans, Trick Williams. There's a lot of people that he's got to deal with in order to truly become the greatest North American champion. Sorry. In order to truly become the greatest NXT champion of all time. So again, as we move towards NXT Homecoming and of course No Mercy and Halloween Havoc, there is definitely a lot. There are so many questions that have yet to be answered. But the one question that has been answered, and I'm gonna end this video by answering the question. The one question that has been answered is this: is Obafemi the greatest champion in NXT history? Yes, he is true. He is definitely one of the best that NXT has truly has to offer. And it's like I said, 2026, we're gonna see him on the main roster at some point in 2026. And on that note, that will do it for this week's episode of WWE's Biggest Issue. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel, you guys want more episodes of WWE's Biggest Issue in the future, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.